So since we're kind of informal this weekend, we're not officially having judges, but I do want to introduce some of the folks that are on the call right now. Some of you folks who graciously given up your time this weekend. So I know Jason, you've been with us the whole time. You want to reintroduce yourself to the group?
Sure. I'm Jason Schmidt. I am a uh, business growth and stabilization strategist. And I've worked with small businesses for a while. I've also participated in Techstars not too long ago and was on the winning team there. But I've been involved in small business communities since 2014-ish. So very interested in what's going on. I love to see all the energy and the work that goes into preparing the deck. So good to be here.
Excellent. And Stacy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, my name is Stacy Laval. I'm currently a marketing consultant here in San Antonio, and I've had a opportunity to have multiple careers. I've been in the retail and luxury high-end industry for quite some time and managed some flagship stores out in Hawaii and Waikiki. And so I bring in a lot of the experience in that area as well. But currently, I've been actually working with a lot of small startups. We've got a nice little geekdom out here that's been just doing amazing with all the small startups, and we've got a cryptocurrency company that's been getting some traction and working with them, and some now medical billing company that I've been working with called Remit. So I'm excited to see how I can help and offer any information.
Excellent. Well, thank you. So what we're going to do, it's a little different than maybe other startup weekends that folks have participated in. This is just kind of an informal demo day. Since there are only two presentations this evening, we're not going to give away first place, second place, because that seems kind of silly. But everyone who presents this evening is going to walk away with some freebies. I'll be sending an email out to those of you who present this evening about what you have won. One of the big prizes, Ben McDougall from Des Moines has graciously donated some digital copies of his book, and you'll get the link to that here later this evening or early tomorrow. And our other sponsors who I'll go through will be giving away some other services and things. So let's dive right in. So this, of course, is Saturday. These are the final presentations. We're not having guest judges really. We're just kind of doing informal feedback this evening from our coaches and folks who graciously did sign up to be judges for this evening. So more of an informal feedback rather than an intense judging. But we are going to be looking for these specific things again. We went over this yesterday, and it's always part of Startup Weekend, part of any good kind of kickoff to forming a startup. So you want to have validation, you want to have execution and design, and you want to validate your business model. So what does this mean? So judging criteria. So validation. Did your team actually get out and talk to customers? Are you actually solving a problem with what you're building? And have you identified a specific target market? So do you know potentially who your customer base is? So these folks will hopefully buy your solution here coming up. Your execution and design. So do you have an MVP? Do you have a prototype? Do you have something to show off here at the end of this event? And of course, the design matters. So if your product, your solution is difficult to use, if it's maybe a little more cumbersome than competition, then you're going to have a hard time getting out there in front of potential customers. And of course, your business model. How do you plan on making this a successful business? Again, are you solving a problem, your value proposition, and is your idea unique? So are you not just reinventing something that's already out there, but in fact, creating a new type of solution for whatever your problem is? And so folks have submitted their pitches. You'll present your idea to everyone on here, and then The judges would have selected 3 teams, but we're not doing it that way. So, yeah, we're gonna fire right in to our presentations. And our first presenter is Supply Crawl. So do we have our Supply Crawl team available? All right. Are you guys,
Yeah,
guys
can
ready?
you
So how we'll do this, you just tell me next slide when you want me to go to the next slide. We're gonna be aiming for 5 minutes, but because we're just a small, mighty group this evening, I'm not gonna cut you off right at 5 minutes. So if you go on past about 7, that's probably gonna cut you off. So go ahead and take it away.
all right, awesome. So yeah, I'm with Chris Tag here. He's also in the call. He's tuned in from his phone. We're both Iowa State students, just as a background. He is a software engineering student. I'm a computer science student. And we came into this weekend wanting to explore like a potential idea just for any sort of startup, really. We had like a couple of very like bare bones concepts. And so we kind of picked one and rolled with it for the weekend and tried to do as much as we could related to that idea. So the idea we went with, we called it Supply Crawl. And the idea is essentially a tool to help streamline supply sourcing for like industrial supplies. So think like bolts, screws, different tools and whatnot. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah. So essentially the goal is to make it sourcing supplies from industrial tool and supply vendors a lot easier. Next slide, please. So when you're sourcing industrial supplies, if you're like a medium-sized business, from what we could find, most of the sales go through like the top 4 to 5 vendors. And this is kind of like the overall like industrial supply market. There's a lot of smaller vendors, but most of the sales go through these top 4. And the total industry seems to be about $22 billion a year, based on all of the most recently reported metrics. We looked at all of these in the like annual reports for all the companies except for McMaster because they're private. Next slide, please. So looking at this industry, clearly it's like a pretty big industry. There's a lot of moving parts, pun intended. And so we wanted to make a price comparison tool where you could look at all of the various vendor product offerings in kind of like one platform. We noticed like when we were looking at like online forums and stuff, we found a lot of Reddit posts on different subreddits for like mechanical engineering and manufacturing and whatnot, talking about like wanting to be able to compare pricing and different like product offerings across the different vendors. And all the replies were like either that doesn't exist or if you find that thing, please send it to me. So that was kind of like our motivator. Next slide, please. And then I'll go ahead and pass it off to Chris to talk about the like core idea for the features of the app.
Chris, we're not hearing you.
Yeah. If your mic isn't working, Chris, I can just keep going too. If you want to send a message. I think I'll just keep going in that case. Sorry, Chris. So yeah, the key features are save money for the people that are purchasing all the supplies. Also save time just because you don't have to cross compare across different vendors, like jumping between websites. You can just do it all in one place. And then also we wanted to keep track of like historical prices. We knew that there's like some websites that do this for like Amazon, but we didn't find anything that does this for like industrial vendors. Next slide, please. So yeah, these are like the top vendors we identified earlier. Based on the forums, we kind of placed them on like a grid between like pricing and then also like what they prioritize of speed versus like quality of parts. And so we think that like given this different range, it would be good to have like different metrics on the platform for each of these vendors. Next slide, please. And then this is kind of like the idea of like one of the core features. We tried building out the UI for some of this, but we had some trouble like scraping the data off of the websites, and it's something that we couldn't really get fully working in one day. But we do definitely think it's possible given like what we've seen. But kind of like conceptually is you would look for like a specific part number, and then you could be able to cross check the pricing for that specific type of part across all the different vendors. So this is like an example of that. Next slide, please. And then this would result in just better processes. Like, again, you don't have to cross compare, but again, a bunch of different vendors yourself. There's just a tool that does it for you. And then also just like being able to view comparisons between like, just because it's a lower price doesn't mean it's better. So show shipping options and other things like that to make more informed decisions. Next slide, please. And then, so this is like kind of outlining everything we had for our idea. So with regards to like what progress we made over the past 24 hours-ish, excluding sleep, was we looked at all those online forums that I mentioned. Our takeaway was kind of like, there's not really a thing that does this that we could find. So we started building out like a landing page to try to funnel people to, and then also like just an email wait list. We have like that hooked up to a database. So anyone that goes to that URL can sign up for the wait list, and then we'll have that available. And then we also were just diving into like the code for the websites for the different catalogs and seeing how we could kind of gather all that into one big database. And then the next steps there are mainly just kind of building out the product, making it actually like work, and then doing adjustments based on like what users actually want. So yeah. I think the next slide is just an example of the landing page we built out. We threw that together last night. And then I think that's it. I think we have one more slide. Forget. Oh yeah, and there's our emails if anyone wants them. So yeah, that's it. It was fun. Thank you.
Great job. Great job with that. Coaches and judges, what do you have? What sort of feedback do you have for this team?
Who wants
Well,
to go
great
first?
job. Oh, go ahead. You can go
You-
first.
I have some things that, first of all, good job in doing this and getting it together in a weekend. Finding some information on Reddit as a source. That was good. So one of the things that you want to do when you're doing the customer validation and talking to customers is find out they have this problem. What are they doing now? And from what I interpreted from what you're saying, they're doing it manual. But go into a little more detail on that. What does that cost you? You know, do you have to have a subscription with each of the suppliers? You know, how much time are you spending on that? And then how do you search for them or how do you find them? Because one of the things about your landing page is how do they find your landing page, right? The only other question that I had was, do you have an email that you send them when they sign up from your landing page?
We do not currently. I tried
Okay.
to maybe get that hooked up, but I was having a little trouble. So
Okay.
not currently, no.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
I guess I have one question, and then Chris, if you have a question, I'll hand it over to you. But I think my main question is just like, what do you think of the like idea itself? I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on like the customer validation side, and so it's
Mhm.
kind of hard to tell if it's a good idea or not without that. But in terms of like the product, like what are your thoughts? Do you think it is kind of interesting or meh or
Uh, yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, I'm a product manager background as well. Um, so one thing that I would suggest is you start with the idea as you're validating with customers, be flexible, let it morph, right? Because you want it to solve the problems that they have in the ways that they need, and through the channels that they need. So I'm good
awesome?
there.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, well, no,
Sorry,
Great job.
sorry. Chris, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. I know your audio is not working. so.
Yeah, go ahead, Stacy.
so yeah, no, very impressive. Like in 24 hours, you guys have done a lot. My questions is, so, you've got the products, and a lot of the times when you're searching for products, you're searching for a specific type, or you're searching for there are different brands that kind of cross. And so will you figure out, like, okay, if when somebody is putting in their specs or their search, are you going to just do specifics, or are you going to do broad range, trying to get their ideas show them other options? And then the platform itself, is this going to be a pay subscription platform? Or are you going to have, like, where's the financial aspect going to be coming from?
Yeah. Chris, do you want me to, is your audio working yet, or?
Is it working?
It
Yay,
is.
you're here.
Okay.
Chris is here. Chris, do you want to take one of those, and then maybe I can take the other?
Yeah, sure, I can take one. So the idea we had for like finding like if they wanted like some nail or something, some specific nail, we wanted to try to not just get like a lookup table for a database, but somehow try to vectorize it too, so we could get like adjacent recommendations to whatever exact item they're searching for, and also allow kind of broad searches too, to try to just like, if they want a lot of something, we want to show them exactly what they want through a bunch of different vendors, but then also some adjacent products that maybe have a better deal, or like faster shipping times, or they can buy more of them.
Yeah, so like not just the exact equivalent product, but try to build out like some sort of recommendation system that would show like comparable things, that it's like, hey, this is like a similar thing that might be of better value to you. So
And with that, just as a suggestion, if you haven't thought of it already, but always doing an add-on, like, hey, this is what you're interested in, this is what you're looking for. Do you need these like items that are social? Like, you're buying shoes, here's some socks.
Okay, like a frequently bought together kind of recommendation.
Yeah, well, you want to kind of jump ahead of them and see, okay, by their searches, what I've seen, we kind of get an idea of what they're either building or need, or what their business is in need of. So you kind of just do anticipate, okay, so if they're needing these are other things that they're probably going to need as well. You're buying a drill, you're going to need drill bits, you're going to need screws, all those types of things. So the add-ons will kind of make sure that you're building that relationship, because then they're like, oh yeah, we should just do it from here, all one spot. But then your price point goes up for per sale.
cool, thank you. And then I guess to answer your second question, that's something that we have thought about quite a bit, especially like this morning. And we were trying to figure out what the best like monetization strategy would be for something like this. Our first thoughts were like, if these vendors had some sort of like referral program like Amazon would, where you just like get a fraction of the profits from the sale or something. But we kind of looked for that, and they don't, unfortunately. And so our first thought was some sort of like subscription based pro version. So like there would be a free tier that provides like a decent amount of value, but then for certain other like maybe access to more vendors, or access to like a wider array of like metrics or something like that, you'd maybe pay for like a pro version. But I think that's something that we definitely like would want to work on more and kind of like flesh out, is the monetization strategy.
My question with that pro version is, are you opening it up to like, is I'm assuming this would be something more B2B rather than B2C, right? So when you're saying, a pro, how would you delineate from like, okay, so your company is it in amount of their spending, how often they're coming? Think of how am I gonna offend my customer by saying, okay, you're not a pro or whatever? And then how can I utilize that to encourage them, I want to be a pro type of thing. So it's a balance. You want to give them just enough kind of nudge, like, oh, you're not a pro. but you don't want to like go overboard and go, oh, like this is stupid. I don't need that extra whatever amount to pay so I can have that title or whatever. And it kind of comes into play with what I'm sorry, I forgot what the other coach was saying is that you know, allow yourself to see where the valuation is. Let the market tell you where your valuation is, right? Because you know, when you make something, it's kind of like a baby, and you're like, this is the best thing in the world. I love this. But sometimes when you're pricing it out, you kind of overprice it, or sometimes people even underprice it. But allow the time for it to like tell you, okay, what are people willing, and always readdress it. Always kind of stay focused on that. Okay, things are going up, you know, and prices are increasing and whatnot. And so be aware that the market should set the value.
Excellent. I think we'll have to wrap things up there, but thank you guys. And let's move on to Wazam and Iker Dynamics. Get the slides fired up here. All right, does everyone see those slides?
Okay. So
right.
let us start.
Yep.
So okay. So the my startup is the Acure Dynamics, and my name is Monza Wei, and I'm the co-founder of this startup. And my background is I've completed my bachelor in computer science and master in data science. So our tagline of this startup is reimagine healthcare and empower yourself. So our main purpose of this startup is to personalize healthcare management. Next slide. Okay, so in current healthcare, we target some challenges. So we are highlighting current challenges in the healthcare delivery, like traditional healthcare struggles to address individual needs, leading to ineffective disease management for chronic condition like diabetics, heart failure, and asthma. So patients often feel disconnected from their care plans, and because of this, it raises the healthcare cost burden both the patient and the institutions. Next slide. Okay, so our vision is to empower individuals to take an active role in managing their health and transform healthcare through the power of AI personalization. Personalization. Next slide. Okay, so we are unlocking the potential of AI for the patients. So our key feature is a secure platform that gather and unifies the health data, providing a complete picture and advance the AI analysis that generate the personalized recommendation to the unique needs. And our next feature will be create a user-friendly interface that fosters seamless communication between the patient and the healthcare providers. Next slides. Okay, so in our startup, we are using quantum technology. So our model will be used for the genetic makeup to identify the disease marker and enabling the even more personalized treatment plans. So our envision QML models predicting the response to the treatment with exceptional accuracy, leading to more effective therapies. And our committed to exploring the possibilities of QML to push the boundaries of healthcare research. So these are our unique value proposition. Next slide. Okay, so our business model is actually we offer tier-based subscription plan for the healthcare institution, catering to their specific needs. So user-based pricing allow access to a specific feature and functionalities. And third, model is strategic partnership enable broader market reach and platform expansion. Next slide. Okay, so okay, so the market size breakdown actually we are targeting we means what I've researched in the US market. So I found so in the US healthcare market, IT market is around 140 billion, and the in it includes the mid-size and the large hospital clinic managing chronic conditions, and the realistic market share, if we do project for the Accurate Dynamics, so it could be a 3 to 5%. So it everything comes on the song. On next slide. Okay, so this is the final financial projection for the healthcare for the Accurate Dynamics. Means I projected for the 5 years. So the first year, we assume that we will earn around 2 millions based on the customer and the partnership. And similarly, on the second year, our sales will increase, and it's parallelly our revenue will increase as well. So this is the assumption-based final projection. Next slide. Okay, so this is the last slide, and this is overall of the Accurate Dynamics. And if you want to ask anything, so please let's discuss. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, coaches. Our coaches have hopefully not disappeared. Come back.
I'm still here, but letting the other go first.
Aloha,
This time.
Mozam. This is Loeka. I just have a couple of questions on. By the way, great job. AI cure and precision patient care is really a growing area. So a lot of what you have right now, I focus on team, right? Who else do you have on your team that can help you bring this to market? Currently, I know I think you said you are a co-founder. Can you help me understand your other founders' background?
Yeah.
I know yours.
Okay, I have one more co-founder, and his background is actually it's not a technical person. So I'm looking at one co-founder who could be a technical person.
Okay. One in a team area, one thing I would recommend, because I sit with a global group of team practitioners, and we have VCs and private equity firms that come to us to assess their teams. I would try to balance it out and look at getting a third team member, because when I look at technology for the Department of Defense, there's two things I'll fail a technology for: team and a lack of a patent. I won't even look at the rest of their package. But your team of 3 is gonna have a big weight when I look at your technology that you're submitting. In any organization, I've done it in corporate and I've done it in federal government. But what you have is, I mean, it's going to change. I've seen other technology along this line also. but what you're offering is something that's gonna revolutionize a lot of things that we're looking at. One other thing, I would say get a niche. Right now it looks like you have a broad spectrum. Find a niche in that area. Most of the folks I know, they're focusing on diabetes or some type that their niches are based on organs for most of the folks that I'm working with, so that they are specifically organ based AI companies, startups and scale ups. So, but great job on your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, your presentation was awesome. Sorry, my camera has gone funky right now, so I think my thing's like preserve energy. So one of my questions would be, you know, like Loeka was saying, have a niche. I try to maybe lower the scope of what you're focusing on, but and correct me if I'm wrong, because you know this is not the medical side is not my area of expertise. But are you going to be offering a service to kind of not diagnose, but confirm a patient's kind of diagnosis? Is that, did I get that right?
Yes, because we have a predictive based system. So in this kind of system, definitely we will diagnose based on some data, based
Okay.
on some images, based on some lab reports. And then our system will give some recommendation, and that will be a benefit to the patients before means to prevent the major disease or major circumstances. So that's my major goal.
And your customer would be the hospital themselves?
You mean if the customer, if the patient is in the hospital, means
Okay.
yeah, no, actually, this thing is, if the patient has some problem, like patient has diabetics patients or asthma patient, so definitely the patient will not go every day to the hospital.
Right.
And
It would
so,
become more of like a supplemental second diagnosis type of thing. Like they would send you and the patient would kind of cross in terms of like you're getting their swabs or films or types of thing, and then that way through them personally.
yes, this is a recommendation system. Like the system will have the data, the big data according to the disease. So system will recommend some dosage, and parallelly, the health specialist will be there. So patient can directly communicate with them and get the advice.
Yeah, I think what you have is a great idea, I think, but the scope really, you know, you want to narrow it down because the medical field is such like this huge beast, right? There's so many working facets to it. And once you've gotten that one niche down, maybe it gives you an opportunity for scalability, right? So you always want to think about growing and getting to the next level. And so if you start at just one area, and you'll be able to prolong your longevity. And I think that would
Yep.
be very helpful for you.
Yeah, for MVP, I'm targeting 3 diseases for now.
Okay.
Diabetics, asthma, and the heart failure.
Okay. And you feel like that those 3 are easily handleable? It's not too broad?
Yes, it's not very, actually, yeah, can handle easily
Yeah.
according to a disease, because diabetics has only 1 level or 2 levels, but instead of the cancer or other disease. So it could be a manageable for the MVP level, yes. But after then I will look to go on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you. You've got a great project.
Thank you.
Hey, I really wanted to get clarified. Who is going to pay you?
Who is going to pay me? Actually,
Mhm.
right now I'm only the developer on this startup, and I'm
Who
looking.
who is going to pay the company? Who's the customer that is going to do the
Okay, so
paying?
our main target is the patients.
Okay,
Okay, we will earn from the
patients will
patients.
directly pay for it then.
Yep.
Okay,
And also we will collaborate with partnership with IT technology company, healthcare institution, mid-sized clinic.
but you would be looking for them to recommend to the patient that they pay for this?
Yeah, definitely. But when I did research, so I found doctor will not pay you. So definitely I have
Okay.
to go with the healthcare executive side. So I will reach to those people and the patients.
Okay.
This will be our main target audience.
Okay. And then my second question was your projections. $2 million in the first year. I wanted to make sure to understand, is that the first year after the product is developed or the first year including the product development?
No, after once the product will develop, then
Okay.
after 1 year,
Okay.
the project complete.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments? If not, thank you so much. Great presentation. Really
Thank you,
enjoyed
Jay.
that. Enjoyed both the presentations this evening. Just want to make sure there's no one else in here who wants to present anything before we wrap things up for the event. Um, I'm guessing Adon part of your team, Mozam?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
No, I'm just
Ashley?
on listening. I'm just listening in. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm just expecting.
Nope, that's okay. That's okay. I just want to make sure you were. Just want to make
Maybe
sure.
next time.
That's
Sorry, now I'm
okay.
just seeing what they're presenting.
That's just fine. Yeah, we didn't want to leave anyone out.
Jay, I got one thing for Mozam.
Sure.
Mozam, one thing I would
Yes.
want you to think about your team is to really think about ICD-10 codes so that you can tap into the insurance industry. Are you familiar with the ICD-10 codes, the diagnostic codes?
ICD-10, not much, but I
Oh,
have to do some work
yeah.
on it.
So every specialty, dentist, all medical will rely on codes, and codes have the ability to, well, codes are designed for diagnostics, and those diagnostics are billable to insurance companies. So the cost and price of the you're asking a patient to take on a burden of the costs. They're already paying insurance premiums. So you ask their insurance companies to take on the burden. So I would highly recommend you look at ICD-10, DSM-5, and I think the dental is CDT. And then in the genomic sequencing, there's actually codes for that also that's reimbursable by Medicaid and Medicare. So everything that you have on your deck, there's actually reimbursables from the insurance industry that will generate revenue for you. So I would definitely look at that. So
Thank you.
and
Thank
then
you.
you could send me, Jason, and Jay and Stacy some revenue too. No, I'm just like but great presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Well, I've got a few more slides. We'll wrap up with those. Sharing again here. So yeah, was a great weekend. We had a lot of fun. You did it. You got through it. You got to experience building something from scratch all the way up to this kind of slide deck point, just 26 hours. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you're kind of time pressured like that. So congratulations to everyone who presented this evening. Do want to thank all the folks who made this possible. We had a great group of coaches, a great group of organizers that helped with this. We had several different partners. Like I said, Pour Over Publishing. Those are the folks that that are giving out some free copies of Ben McDougall's book, You Don't Need This Book. I think you actually do need the book, but he says you don't. So we're going to get some digital copies out to everyone who presented this evening. Also, everyone who presented this evening gets a free ticket to Startup Weekend Iowa City this coming July. And or you can trade that in for a free ticket to something we're going to develop in September called Follow-Up Weekend. So definitely something to consider, especially the follow-up weekend. If you want to keep working on this project that you started this weekend, or if you've got other amazing ideas. I know I saw a few ideas in Discord this weekend. If you want to come to Iowa City this summer, it's July 12th through 14th, an in-person event. So if you'd like to come to that, you get it. We will give you a free ticket to that as well. Jay Cooper, freelance media producer. That's my video production and web development business. I do some consulting through there, so willing to help you out however you want. I'll give you each a couple free hours of my services if you'd like them. And if you're into cider, Cider Finder is going to reward our presenters with some free ciders, some gift cards. So definitely will give you information on how to cash that in as well. So thank you to our local partners. Also want to thank our global sponsors again, Google for Startups, GoDaddy Registry, and Brex. So remember, you got some free stuff coming your way. Regardless of whether you present it or not, this is for everyone who's signed up. You get 300 in free Google for Startups cloud platform credits. And so we sent out an email with that information, but this will go out to you one more time before we all kind of part ways here. It's a great, especially, you're both building technological stuff. Definitely check that out. GoDaddy Registry. I know I saw a .co website from one of the teams, so you've cashed in that freebie, but everyone gets to use that. So for those of you who haven't cashed that in yet, it's good through about the end of this coming week. So you want to take advantage of that as soon as you can. That's our code to get the free website address there, SUW Iowa 24. So definitely check that out. Like I said, it's good through about Thursday, this coming Thursday. So definitely check that out. We also have Brex as one of our sponsors. You get 30,000 points after you spend $1,000 on a new Brex card. So basically a credit card for your new startup. Once you get your bank account set up and everything, it hooks into that. You can open your account at this address, and that also went out in the email earlier today. Also in the email is the link to join Techstars Pre-Flight. It's kind of the home for everyone who's gone through these programs, all the alumni from different Techstars programs. So definitely check that out. It's a great kind of social media. You can connect with folks that are going through pre-accelerator programs, have been through the Techstars accelerators. If you want to take this even further than you were able to take this weekend. So definitely check that out. So thank you all very much. Like I said, next event is Startup Weekend Iowa City. That's July 12th through 14th of this year. So definitely consider making the trip to Iowa City and hanging out with us. We always have a lot of really amazing food, and you make a lot of great friends. It's where I met a lot of our co-organizers for this event. They have participated in Startup Weekend Iowa City. They then took the idea over to Des Moines and reinvigorated that Startup Weekend community over there. So it was great. If you're not here in Iowa, or if you are here in Iowa and you want to help out, we always enjoy getting past participants to help us out with future events. So definitely let me know if you're interested. Techstars is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed. We're here to give you the support that you need through all of this stuff. Over 400,000 participants since 2009. So it's a lot of years and a lot of participants, over 6,000 events across the globe. There's events on almost every continent. I think Antarctica is the only one they haven't had one. So probably coming soon. 150 different countries and almost 1,500 different cities across the world. And that's what I've got. That's the event. So thank you all very much for joining us for Startup Weekend Iowa Online 2024. And if you want to hang out in Discord, we'll be over in the Chit Chat channel for a little bit afterwards. You're welcome to bring your own beverage if you are of age. And thank you all very much. We'll see you over in Discord. Bye, everyone.